Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nutrition webinar. In this broadcast, we're going to be talking about how What we eat affects our mind and our moods, what our brain consists of, and why the food affects our moods and affects our well being, and what foods to eat more and which foods to stay away from. The first thing that I want to say is that if you're struggling with your children, with your family in any way, it's really not your fault at all. When you read this, I don't want you to feel bad and think, oh my God, I've been giving this to my kid or something like that, because it's not anybody's fault. The truth is that we all have been misinformed. I mean, think about it. We've had a television from the beginning in our homes, and from the age we were this little, we've been listening to television programs, radio commercials, ad after ad after ad, telling us, eat this food, drink this, and we've been brainwashed and not understanding that this stuff that they're giving us is not good for us. And then on top of that, add modern life into it. We're all so busy and tired that when they're selling us the convenient, the fast, and the easy, of course we're going to take it. You know, who knows if even what's going on with COVID, the world is ever going to be the same. But what I want you to most importantly understand, if you're having a hard time with your kid, if he's not listening, if he won't eat the right foods, if he won't go to bed at the right time, whatever it is, know that it's not your child's fault either. Okay, but just more of the same. We live in a system where it is dominated: the food, the dairy industry, social media, internet, the education system, the medical system, the pharmaceutical systems. They're all run mainly for the same thing. Okay, and 80% or more of the problems that teens are experiencing today can be, oh, hold on. Now I'm going to pass, hold on. Now I'm going to pass the floor to Daisha, and she is going to tell us something that's very interesting that most people don't know.
All right, all right. What is up, guys? How is it going? I hope you guys are all having a great day. Thank you so much for joining this on this broadcast. As you guys start jumping on, if you're coming on the live broadcast, make sure to drop in the comments. If you are joining us on the private broadcast, make sure to drop in the private chat. It's going to be on the right side of your screen, whether it's on the mobile version or on the computer. That way we can keep interacting here on the broadcast. So, as Naomi was saying, I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys one thing that most people don't know. And that is that 80% or more of the problems teens are experiencing today can be divided into 4 parts. Now, before we do jump into those, I do like to have you guys understand that we like to keep things very short. So we are going to be diving into nutrition most because that's the reason that you came onto this broadcast today. But we wanted you guys to be aware of at least the other 3. Now, we are going to be doing some giveaways as well. We have 3 giveaways going on just for being on this broadcast. As long as you signed up for the broadcast, which if you're on here, you should have, you'll be getting it inside of your email, the Food Mood Productivity Workbook for free. Now, if you stay until the end of the broadcast, we are going to be giving an exclusive gift only available on this broadcast. So you have to stay until the end. And then also at the end, we're going to be selecting one person to be able to receive either How to Stop Worrying What Other People Think of You, or the course Unshakable Confidence, which is basically the secrets to outliving your most authentic self. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in. So the first one is the education system. Now, the education system we call a one-size-fits-all system. And the reason we call it this is because it doesn't really teach you how to learn critical thinking, life skills, communication skills, which are essential to us living our lives, right? And we're not knocking on the school systems at all, right? We understand that education is extremely important. But wouldn't you agree that you usually use your communication skills, your creative skills, and your critical thinking skills on a daily basis compared to, let's say, knowing the area of a circle? And yet we're taking things out like art, music, and physical fitness out of our schools and replacing it with, I know, and it's crazy, right? You can't even fathom this, that you would actually take those things out, but they're replacing them with things like Burger King, Dunkin' Donuts, and Pizza Hut. So, to be honest, this really just frustrates me, because how does this help anyone? And it kind of makes the question stand, like, what the heck are they teaching our children? Our children are going to be the new generations, the new future. What are they being taught with taking the things that actually help them in the world and replacing them with things that don't benefit them at all? The second thing is purpose or lack of one. Kids really need something to keep them going, right? It's a problem when they have that lack of direction because it's really the whole reason that they don't like going to school, right? They get bored. Boredom is honestly something that most people underestimate, right? When people start getting bored, when you see kids start getting bored, they start participating in reckless behavior. They start making way more stupid decisions than normal. They start breaking down with their emotions a lot easy when something goes wrong simply because they're bored. And if you don't believe me, look it up, right? A famous philosopher once said, boredom is the root of all evil, the despairing refusal to be one's self. The third thing is social media. And the reason why I say this when it comes to social media is because kids are really struggling, right? They're struggling with self confidence, they're struggling with self love, and so much more. They're struggling with their insecurities, their fears, their doubts, their overwhelming emotions. And social media takes all of that from the kids and it amplifies them, it magnifies them. Now, the reason why I say that it kind of magnifies them is because you went from kids kind of worrying about them comparing themselves to like the prettiest girl in school, right? Or having a rumor spread around maybe like 100 people within their school to now things being spread or having to compare themselves to millions and billions of people online. And the fourth one is really the reason that we're here today. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the floor back over to Naomi here so she can go ahead and dive into nutrition.
Okay. So now let's talk about nutrition, because just like with all the other things that Daisha mentioned, okay, we have been so misguided for the interests, of course, of the big corporations that we have incorporated the American diet as a part of our daily lives, right? And believing that everything that they tell us, okay, that is in the labels, that is real, not understanding that what the ingredients really are not what they say they are, because they've changed the name so that we don't know all the contents that are really in there that are harmful for us. We don't even know how bad these products are for them. And a lot of these products aren't even regulated here in the United States. Some of the products like our dairy, our beef, our cheeses, and our milk are not even allowed in 12 different countries because of how harmful they are and the causes that they bring to the human body and the mind. These are the things that are causing alarming rise of emotional and physical affliction in children today. So today we're going to talk about certain foods and how they affect the brain. We're going to talk about the good and the bad and the short-term and long-term effects of eating the good food versus the bad food. Now, I wish I knew this as a kid, that if the things that we do now, the things that we do today are going to affect us in the future. When we're young, we don't think of consequences. Actually, we just know that a burger tastes so delicious and a salad just doesn't taste the same, right? We don't understand that in 10 years from now, we're going to have fatty deposits in our arteries, that we're going to have high cholesterol, that we might suffer diabetes or cancer or even worse. We don't know that. And so it is really hard to make someone do something at this age when they're not aware or they're not made aware of the consequences, One thing that I want to say to you guys is, for this reason, that it's better to teach your kids now these good habits than later, because we all know, okay, once we're in our late 20s, once we're in our 30s, once we're in our 40s, it just gets harder and harder and harder. And not only that, even the research that I was doing today showed that practicing these things with a healthy lifestyle, with maintaining a low stress level in our lives, can prolong someone's life anywhere from 8 to 20 years. And another thing that you're going to be teaching their kids that is so important and that is not taught in schools and that we need it so much today is self-discipline. It's self-regulation. Okay, learning to understand that we might do something now and it's not going to taste as delicious or feel as good or be as pleasurable But in the long term, it's going to make us feel better and make us better people. And think about this, moms. I mean, how do we expect for our kids or even ourselves to function at our best, at our highest energy level, have total mental clarity, and feel good about ourselves when we're not doing the right things, when we're not eating the right stuff, right? All of this teaches resilience, but it also gives us a life that is healthier and helps us be more productive. Okay. Now, if they're eating stuff like Twinkies, gummies, sodas, and chips, I mean, how else do we expect our kids to feel? If they're staying late and snacking, how can we expect them to feel good, right? I mean, think about it. It's similar to like having a car or having a computer or something like that. Okay. Whatever you give it, if you give a car that's diesel, regular gas, what's going to happen? After a while, it's not even going to run. It doesn't matter what great tune-up you give it or what great oil change you give it. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to fix it long term. Okay? So, sorry, 1 second. Okay, so now, with that being said, okay, I was saying that, yes, we want to nurture, we want to give our children's love and something like that. But we do want to help them and teach them that they need this discipline. We have to be tough with our kids. But with that being said, it is very important that we understand what it is that kids want, what is in it for them, so that they're able to do these things. Now, another reason why this is so important is not just that it teaches our kids all these things and wellness, but when we talk about our mental well-being, it's not a coincidence that teen anxiety, depression, that mood disorders, that physical and mental decline and suicidal rates have been rocketing since 2011. Okay? We have to teach them to learn to do things that they might not be good for them. It might not feel good, but it's good for them long term. Now, my friend Jennifer, she personally went through this. She's a nutrition expert, and she's going to be here with us today. And she was telling me, and she's going to talk to you about her personal experience that she had with her son. When she, after 20 years of getting tired of doing these diets and trying a whole bunch of things, she decided to try something different. And instead of going for the diet, she decided to change her lifestyle. And in doing so, she said, well, how am I going to cook 2 different meals? I'm going to teach my family the same. And she relates the difficult time that she had being able to teach her son and getting him rid of those habits, and literally like taking the sugar, taking the meals and all those things that he was so used to, how difficult it got for her. And there were times that she would go to bed crying, and she was actually like literally thinking, oh my God, like, am I doing the right thing? And I remember her even telling me she was about to give in. She was about to give in. And then she thought, my God, thank God I didn't do it because of the healthy and happy kid that I have today. And she's going to get on and talk about that. So that's what I was saying before. We got to find out what it is that our kids want, you know? Figure out what it is that they like, what it is that they want, and then kind of bribe them, because you know what I mean? What's in it for them? You got to make it fun for them, right? And so now let's talk about what things are important for young kids. So telling your kid that eating healthy is going to equate to this for him: better shiny skin. I know, because I talk to teens and they are so worried about their appearance, and so many kids are suffering from acne, and it comes primarily from the dairy products and a lot of the sweets and high sugar content products that they're eating. Not only that, Americans have the largest obesity rate in the world. It's known that 22 to 30% of youth are a little overweight. Not only that, when they start eating healthy, they're going to feel better. If you have kids that like to participate in sports or are part of a team or something like that, well, it's going to mean better performance for them. It's also going to mean better performance at school, because all that high sugar content and dairy creates brain fog. This is why so many kids are having such a difficult time concentrating today, and not to mention the mood swings. I'm sure you've heard of the sugar high, right? Okay, this will create a better, more stable mood instead of being so unpredictable and all over the place. Okay, now we know this is a lot of information. So, like Daisha mentioned before, we created a workbook and we're going to be sending it to you tonight to the email that you guys gave us. If there's another email that you guys want us to send it to, just put it down in the contents. In the comments. Daisha will grab a hold of it and we will email you tonight with the workbook. Now, let's talk about the effects of the brain. So, the brain, we're going to go in depth in the workbook, but I did want to talk about how it is that food affects the brain, okay? And what the brain is composed of, what it likes, and what it doesn't like, okay? So most of the way from our brain comes from lipids, proteins, amino acids, glucose, then micronutrients. These are the 5 things that we have. And they break down in our body, like lipids in the form of energy, proteins, they build muscle, which is what we want and that young people need. Amino acids make 75% of the body content, and it's involved in almost every body function that we have. Glucose is the main source of energy for the body. And mind you guys that the brain is only 5% of the body, but it absorbs 20% of the nutrients that we consume. Okay, now everything that I'm talking about plays such an important role because that's why the food that we eat matters, because it's what's going to help the body produce and break it down like this, just how it needs to be. Okay, now we're going to talk about this more in detail in the workbook, but I wanted to explain to you that basically the fats in the brain are the superstars of the brain are the omegas. And we've heard about this before, okay? Having the omega-3s and 6 in your diet is what's going to prevent disease, degenerative brain conditions. I know so many people are suffering from Alzheimer's today. And this is what will prevent these type of diseases, not to mention lower your cholesterol, reduce inflammation, constipation, so many things. Not only that, when you eat natural, healthy fats, instead of the fats that they sell us at the store, which are saturated fats, you stay fuller much longer because, one, you're being fed with nutrients. You're not being fed with empty calories, which means you're going to stay fuller and feel better longer. And all of this is in the workbook, and it will explain to you where it is that you could find these. Like you can find these type of contents and proteins in grains, in legumes, in nuts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We talk about this in the workbook extensively, so you will have a copy of all of this, okay? So now, let's talk about the trans and saturated fat because they're such a big part of our diet, okay? And these are what I call the evil fats, right? Okay, like I said before, a lot of these contents, a lot of these products that we have in the United States are banned in like 12 different countries. Okay, it is no coincidence that the United States has the largest rate of obesity, illness, and mental health problems because it has been linked to our diet. And here is a list of starches, refined carbohydrates and processed food, guys. This is what we see in our grocery store every day. This is what we've grown up and been used to eating, but that has so many contents that is what's causing the illness and the overall just feeling of unwellness that we have today. Okay, now we're going to be giving you guys natural alternatives for these foods, so don't worry. It's not like there's nothing that you can eat. There's actually a lot that you'll be able to eat. Now, what I did want to touch on really quickly was the American cheese, because that is the biggest problem we have today. And I want to tell you guys that I know that slightly starting to change our diet, it's going to take a little bit of work and a little bit of getting used to. Okay, but I want to explain to you why it is that it's so hard to come off these foods, so that you guys don't feel bad and think, oh my God, it's me, like I'm addicted, or I can't do it, or think that your kid just doesn't want to do it and he's being stubborn. It was actually made like this on purpose. The main protein in the cheese, particularly American cheese and dairy, is called casein. And it's very interesting because it breaks in the body into casomorphins. Okay, now let me explain what casomorphins do. Okay, casomorphins are the compounds that break in your brain, and when they break directly in the brain, they attach to the same neuroreceptors that heroin attaches to. Do you understand what that means? This is why, although they might not have the same high as a heroin hit or something like that, but they are just as addicting, and they keep on making you come back for more and more and more. We've all had that burger. We've all been to Burger King, McDonald's, and the next day we're like desperate to go back again because that's the way it was made. It was made for that. And just to give you some examples of how harmful some of their products are, having one egg a day is equivalent to smoking 5 cigarettes. And all the things that we've been taught about milk, that milk strengthens the bones, that you need to have, a couple of glasses of milk a day, has been proven that it's not true. Actually, drinking milk makes you more susceptible to a breakage, like from 30 to 40%. This is what some studies have shown. There's actually no benefit. And the most important thing that I want to tell you guys is that most of us are allergic to dairy. It's already known that humans are 70% lactose intolerant, and Asians are even 90%. So the truth is, we're not really meant to have that many dairy products. This is some of the stuff that it causes. Stuff like allergy, sinus problems, ear infections, type 1 diabetes, chronic constipation, anemia. It just does so much harm. And when we get into sugar, there's so much sugar in our products. Like I had mentioned earlier about Coca-Cola and these sugary drinks, even juice drinks that are sold in the main brands in the grocery store have so much sugar. And you know what they're responsible for? They're responsible for all the cancers, the disease, the immune problems, the anxiety, diabetes. There are studies that show the long-term effects of taking these for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, what they leave you being and how they make you feel. Not only that, here are some examples of the hidden sugars that they don't even tell us that are in some products that are even considered low fat. Just because it says low fat doesn't mean that it's low in sugar. Now, I'm not saying to literally just change everything and take it like 100%. That's impossible to do. But when we start moderating, what we can do is do incentives, like do it for a special occasion, do it like on the weekends. You know what I mean? When you make it like something like it's a privilege, they'll actually appreciate it and even enjoy it more. Or do other things, make a fresh pizza instead of ordering a pizza, switch it up, do different things, do activities together. Okay, so Daisha, are you ready?
I sure am. All right. Now, guys, that is basically it as far as the information comes to the webinar. We did want to go ahead and bring Jennifer on here just really quick, just so she can kind of explain her story. I think it's just amazing that we're even able to have her on the summit as well. So, Jennifer, I'm going to go ahead and bring you on right now before we jump into the giveaways. How's it going?
Hey, Deja. Hi, Naomi. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. You guys were like talking right to me. I was like, yes. I was over here cheering you on.
I love it. Oh, man. And we are so excited just to have you on the Teen Warrior Summit. I just wanted to personally thank you again. I mean, Naomi kind of provided a little bit of the information and the value that you provide on a daily basis. I was like, oh my God, it's Jennifer. We're going to be able to have her on. So we're super excited for this.
I'm looking forward to it.
And you heard I was telling everybody your story. So I'm super excited that you get to come on here and actually talk to them about it so that, they get firsthand.
I have to say, I love that you opened up and started by telling everybody, like, we're not trying to shame you. It's okay. Like, marketing makes me so mad. I really am right there with you. So I spent 20 years at over 120 pounds, heavier. I was over 300 pounds 3 different times. I spent most of my 20s and 30s, early 30s, like on medication in the emergency room, just sick and unhealthy. And I was doing every kind of diet you could think of. I was buying the healthy choices in the grocery aisle, yet I was having diverticulitis flare-ups, kidney stones on a regular basis. I was going into offices and checking in, trying to lose weight and still having all those struggles. And what it came down to is I just didn't learn how to look at food differently. I was taking what I was being told. And so I was finding ways around it. And then what happened, I was actually drinking a fat burning coffee, and my toddler looked at me and wanted his. That was a moment that kind of stopped me in my grind. Like, I can't give him a fat burning coffee. How is it that I'm eating and consuming all this junk and letting him think this is how life is going to be? You eat whatever you want, you feel bad, so then you hype yourself up on like energy drinks and fat burning drinks to counteract what you just ate, when you could cut out a lot of money and pain and illness and just go to real food. So I did make the switch and made the hard choice of not buying the soda and the gummies and the little cookies and things that he was accustomed to. So
Right.
you mentioned those crying moments. I want to be honest. Like, if you want to do the healthy thing for your children and for yourself, first look at how you struggle with trying to not eat the cookie and trying to not eat and trying to get healthy and lose weight. If you as an adult are struggling, and then you're going to give what you can't have to your kid. And if you don't, maybe if it's not you that struggles with it, you don't have a struggle with it. Have you ever seen someone like dart across the kitchen? Don't let the dog have the cookie. Oh my God, you could kill him. But it's okay to give that same cookie to your toddler. Like, that's some hard love. And I get that could sting, but I have learned that sometimes that what hurts is something you got to look at. Like, maybe you needed to hear it. But if we are going to be more conscious on what we're feeding our animals than what we're feeding ourselves and our children, let's think about that. And you were mentioning like our hormones, like 90% of our feel-good hormones are in our gut. If our intestines can't pull out the nutrients to feed our brain, we're going to have that mood, that clog, that fog, it's all going to be there. So it all comes back to nutrition. And I just had to keep telling myself, and this is where I have to give a high five to Next on Netflix. So I had a really bad relationship with Netflix till like 2 a.m. I was a zombie, but I went down the Netflix rabbit hole in nutrition, and they have some great, like, children focused, family focused documentaries that teach you these things that have you learn the food pyramid came from the people that profit from you buying dairy. So if the people who make money by you buying dairy are making a food pyramid, do you think they're going to tell you not to have it? No,
Right.
that's how you have it. And so just like, I know we want to be short and sweet. Like, I remember standing in the kitchen. My son wanted gummies. He had gummies every day. My lunch for him to take to daycare was a sandwich, a pack of gummies, a little cookie, and a juice box, because those were the food groups that I always saw as a lunch, right? And so, put it all in, and I felt so good to send it there with him. And when I took those things away, I can remember at least 2 times we were in the kitchen, and he would throw himself on the floor, and he would do the tantrum, the toddler tantrum, crying because he wanted the gummies. I would look out the window, turn my back, and I would cry because one, I didn't have the gummies to give him. And honestly, have moms ever been in the store and bought the thing because you just need your kid to like not do the tantrum in the store anymore? I've been there. I've done that. Like, so if I had it, I would have given it to him to end that pain for both of us, but it would have been that momentary pain, right? It wouldn't have been the long-term addiction wouldn't end. It would just give more power to that habit that I was already trying to struggle and break myself as an adult. And now I'm trying to like help this toddler go through the same withdrawal and the same things. And he didn't understand why, because he wasn't getting the struggle. He didn't have the emotional connections and struggles and health issues yet. So I would cry out the window, and I would just stand there and be like crying because I didn't have it, but crying because my giving him what I thought was the good thing. Like, even, kids yogurt, you're better off eating a candy bar. And it's ridiculous. Like, one day you might see me trying to take on the big marketing, the big sugar. I don't have the funding to do that at this point, but the marketing of it, like, I was fooled. And that was hard moments. it's those hard moments, like change is hard, but now my son grabs the celery, and when we're in the car, sometimes I get bummed out if I didn't pack enough servings because I'm like, oh, he finished my celery, now I don't have my snack. And now he's like, he goes for fruit first. So I don't know what part you wanted me to talk about anymore, Naomi. I had like maybe just 5 tips if you're trying to change healthier. Do you want me to throw those out quick?
I would love for you to do that. Yes, please.
Sure. So some of the ways to start, you can do what I did and just take it off your grocery list, do the hard thing. I recommend, depending on the age of your child, even if they're younger, still talk to them like they understand. When he couldn't understand and wasn't talking, when we were in the grocery store, I would still tell him what I was putting in the cart. This is a carrot, can you tell me where the celery is? And he'd point nowhere, and I'd still say, yes, this is the celery. So talk to them. If they're older and you can have a conversation with them, make it something that's going to be what's in it for them. I'm working on my health. I want to do the best for you. I know it's kind of going to suck a little because you're used to getting the cookie and the soda. I'm not going to have that, but this is what I'm willing to do. If you do this with me, we're going to take all that money that we would have bought the soda and the cookies with, and I'm going to put it in a separate account, and we're going to do a family date day, and we're going to go to a movie or go to an outing. We're going to buy a TV, something. We're going to do something with that money. And so I'm asking you to do this hard thing with me for the next 30 days, and let's see how it goes. You can do that. Also, you can do baby steps. You can do, yes, I'm still going to have soda and juice in the house, but before you have any soda, you need to have a glass of water before you have a sip of soda. And chances are, if you finish a glass of water, you're going to forget you wanted that stuff. Like if you're really honestly thirsty, the water's going to help you. So just start small and let that add up, and then start like cutting it back. I used to buy 2 cases of soda every week, like it was necessity, because I was brainwashed that it was necessity. Okay, every week, go grab soda, go grab chips, it has to be, right? So the next thing is start with the sweet veggies. So I recommend, while you're making dinner, even if you're ordering out dinner, you can still make healthy choices, but cut up some like red, orange, or yellow raw peppers and carrots, and stick them in a bowl on the table and say, hey guys, I'm making dinner. If you want to go eat anything that's on the table, you can munch on that, have as much as you want. I'll be making dinner, and then you'll sneak some extra veggies in them before they eat. Because if you tell them like extra food, like kids are like, yeah, extra food. They'll go try some. And the peppers are sweeter, so they'll start to like them. And the same thing with fresh fruit. Fresh fruit. My son was the first thing. He could eat a whole bunch of grapes if you gave him a whole bunch. I don't know how, but he absolutely could. So start with the grapes and fruit and the sweet veggies, and let them follow a meal plan and let them pick a picture. So give them 20 pictures of food and say, what do you want to eat? And then they don't know it's all healthy. I've got some really healthy meals that look fun. Have them pick. And then because they picked, they're more likely to eat it and try it. And same thing with having them cook. Having them in the kitchen with you, put on some fun music, make it about the talking and the fun, and food cooking just happens, and have them be a part of it, because then they're going to be proud about the food they made, and they'll be more likely to enjoy it as well. So, just remember, in the end, yes, give yourself some grace. You're working through this hard thing most likely. There's a lot of hereditary illnesses that get passed down, but what I honestly am starting to see in conversations is I feel like it's more hereditary habits. It's not necessarily that high blood pressure is something that's passed to your children. It's the habits of what you're eating and how you're cooking food that gives you high blood pressure, and then you pass that habit to your kid because they grow up learning how you cook. So go first, be the example, quit the soda before you make them, but have them do the water first before they drink a soda. And then just remember, in the end, you're the parent. And sometimes that means being the parent and saying the hard thing because it's better for them. And it's hard now, but it will be worth it down the road. The compound effect, The Slight Edge, great books to imply into your life, where just those seemingly small changes every day stretch out over a year. I think it was something like 100 calories less a day over a year is like a 15-pound weight loss. A day, 100 calories seems like nothing, right? But over a year, that adds up. So just do the hard thing, Don't do it alone. You've got like 2 great people here to follow. I can't wait to see you guys do some more. You've got the content that's going to be coming at you in the seminar. Like lean in, ask questions, and just, it's not about perfect. It's about keeping on going, asking questions, and get it done. So thank you. Is there anything you want to answer?
Oh, it was
Yeah,
fantastic.
Jennifer, just thank you.
You hit
One thing I did want to ask though for you, Jennifer, with your son, you said that it was really hard with getting him to kind of transition. How old was he when you started doing that?
So he would have been 5.5.
5.
So
wow.
He was
Okay,
5.5.
So he was like kind of in that stage of kind of getting his own personality, trying to make his own choices. So it was a really kind of a difficult time during that.
Yeah, and that's
and how old is he now?
Now he's not, he'll be 10 in a month, 2 months. Yeah. But
that is awesome. And one thing that, oh yeah, no, go ahead.
He threw those tantrums as a 5.5-year-old as if he was 2. Like it really was. There were some hard moments. He doesn't even remember. He doesn't remember. Wow. No, I asked him live on Facebook a couple months ago, and he said he doesn't even remember.
Wow. See that? That's amazing. That's amazing. And you hit everything that we were talking about earlier. That's why it's absolutely perfect. And that way parents can see that it's going to be hard, like you said, but it can be done, and it is so worth it. Like the rewards are just so many.
This generation is on pace. It was either JAMA or the American Heart Association. It said this generation's on pace to be the first generation to not outlive their parents.
Yes.
That's horrifying to me.
Yeah. Well, they did some tests, and it showed that already 10-year-olds in the United States have fatty deposits in their arteries and are experiencing already high cholesterol at 10 years old. And this generation, they expect in 10 years, 1 out of 3 of them will have diabetes. Mm-hmm. So and they're so prepared for it, because let me just tell you right now, that the cancer industry in America is a $15 trillion business. Now tell me, if there's $15 trillion on the table, do you think they're looking for a cure? No.
Right.
They're trying to put a Band-Aid on a huge problem, and just trying to get us to consume more and just to consume more. I mean, they don't care about our well-being. They have the interest of the big companies, the big corporations' well-being, not ours. So it's
money and power.
Exactly. So it's really up to us, the people, to individually make our decisions, because we already know the decisions they've made. Every system they have doesn't work, whether it's the school system, the medical system, the pharmaceutical system, the government. None of it works. So what we have to do is already be smart enough and aware that we're the ones that have to take care of ourselves. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And now Deja has some fun giveaways.
Awesome. All right, Jennifer, thank you again. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
See you later. All right. So who is ready for some giveaways? All right, guys, we really appreciate you guys spending some time with us here and really just getting some value with us. So let's go ahead and get into giveaway number 1, which is the exclusive gift. And that is the workbook that you guys are going to be getting at the end of this webinar. You guys will be getting it in your email. And we're also going to be including inside of that email this promo code. Now, this promo code gives you, it's 25%, right, Naomi?
Yes, 25.
25% discount. So you guys get a 25% discount off of the tickets for the Teen Warrior Summit coming up next month. Now, here's the kicker, right? The huge thing that we just recently happened, we just dropped the prices in our Teen Warrior Summit as well, right? So we have the tickets lowered now, and also a discount code for 25%, guys. Guys, we have speakers, we have performers, we have some amazing things going on. If you guys seen the Trump video on our Facebook page, then you guys know even the president likes it, right? All right, so that is the first giveaway. The second giveaway is it's time to select a lucky winner, right? So what we're going to go ahead and do for the selection of a lucky winner is inside of the chat group and inside of the comments, if you were watching this live on a video, we're going to have you guys drop the keyword that I'm going to be giving you here on the next slide. As soon as we do that, we're going to play the Teen Warrior Summit video for those of you that don't know what the Teen Warrior Summit is. Afterwards, the first person to drop the next word that we're going to show on the next slide is going to get the selection of the 2 courses. So with that being said, do you have anything else, Naomi, before I go and play the video?
No, I just want to thank you guys again for being here. Thank you so much, Jennifer, and good luck. We'll see you soon.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys soon. And the keyword is Nayday, Nayday. Go. The Teen Warrior Summit was created out of the desire to have the much needed discussions when it comes to teens. So many teens now are dealing with depression, anxiety, negative self-talk, suicidal thoughts, and even addiction. They become addicted to technology, smartphones, porn, video games, social media, and even drugs. We aim to arm teens with the tools needed so they can be their own superheroes in life. The 5 elements of a superhero are confidence, courage, commitment, control, and purpose. That is what we are going to be teaching you inside of the Teen Warrior Summit. All right, y'all, and we are back. So we're going to go ahead and jump off and select a winner here on the back. Oh, there's my video. All right, so we're going to go ahead and select a winner here on the back. Again, we appreciate you guys so much for being here. Naomi, did you have anything else that you wanted to say before we hop off?
No, I just hope to see you guys at the Teen Warrior Summit, and good luck to the lucky winner.
All right, we appreciate you guys so much. We'll see you guys on the next video.